You can call me Mystic Mac because I predict these things.
Manel Kape takes on Asu Almabayev this Saturday as the main event of UFC Fight Night, Las Vegas, back in the Apex. Good main event here in the flyweight division. Manel Kape was initially supposed to be fighting Brandon Royval, who had to pull out due to a concussion. I think it was Asu Almabayev. Same kind of situation, had a couple fights pull out, Steve Erceg, Alon Nascimento, and now has settled as the main event partner for Manel Kape. So good fight at flyweight. These guys are both really good. Asu Almabayev, 21-2. Been in the UFC for not terribly long, since August of 2023. Came in and had a rear naked choke victory over Ode Osborne. Since then, had 3 decision wins over okay competition. Nothing to get too crazy excited about, but jiu-jitsu black belt out of Kazakhstan. Was like a national champ on one of their teams to win some national championship for jiu-jitsu, but has good kicks, good spinning wheel kicks, spinning back kicks, front kicks, really good leg dexterity, very good defensively, doesn't get hit a lot, puts a lot of dangerous strikes and volume out there when anybody tries to close the distance on him. So I think it's just mostly because people are afraid that if they overextend or open up a little bit too much, he's going to get the takedown, because that's primarily his way of winning fights, is staying defensively responsible on the feet, doing enough to get the fight to the ground, and dominating on the ground. So, and that's kind of what we've seen so far. Manel Kape, very good fighter, very well-rounded, former Ryzen champion over in the Ryzen organization. Been in the UFC now since 2021. Been fighting really good guys. Came in fighting a guy that maybe you've heard of named Alexander Pantoja. Back before he was champ, went to a decision with him, and then went to a split decision with Mateus Nicolau, who's very good, but went on a 4-fight winning streak, ran into Muhammad Mukayev, and maybe the most boring fight that I and you have ever seen. But then most recently coming back with a very impressive win over Bruno Silva. He's a jiu-jitsu black belt, southpaw, switch stance, good striker, very good kicks, very light on the feet, great footwork, good kicks, good distance management, doesn't get hit a lot just because he's very elusive, able to kind of pick his shots and counter, and stays in the pocket to damage his opponents. So very impressive on the feet. Very fast. I think he's definitely gonna have the speed advantage. I think he's gonna have the striking advantage in this. Has been shown to be able to get taken down in fights, but does get up fairly well. Doesn't seem to get in a lot of trouble when he's on the ground. Has like a 77% takedown defense. Was defending takedowns against Pantoja and Nicolau, but was able to get back up and get the better on the feet for the most part, in my opinion. Like I said, fought really good guys. David Dvorak, Felipe Dos Santos, who is debuting, but who's very dangerous. Bruno Silva, who I think very highly of, just kind of dominated that fight. Was really stunning on him for 3 rounds before finishing him in the 3rd. But I just think Kape gets this one done. I think he'll be able to push a higher pace and stay out of danger on the feet and on the ground. I think he's just going to be too quick for Almabayev to get a hold of him. And even if he does, I think he's going to be able to get back up to his feet. I don't see him getting tired in this fight. Asu Almabayev, he fought Mateus Nicolau, who I think is really good, and who's also beat Manel Kape, but I just don't think he's currently on the same level as Manel Kape, the way that he was looking in his last fight against Bruno Silva. I think Kape's a future champ. I think that he wins this fight by decision. I don't see him finishing Almabayev. He's very tough. I don't know if he's even ever been finished. Almabayev, he has 2 losses. He got TKO back in 2017 and then a decision loss, but his one TKO loss is to Tagir Ulanbekov, who again is a future title contender, in my opinion. But I just think Manel Kape's going to be too fast on the feet. He's going to be landing his strikes, not getting hit, not being there when Asu Almabayev takes his shots, and I think he's just going to overall pick him apart on the feet. I don't think Almabayev is going to be able to get him on the ground and hold him there and do any real damage or get any submissions off, and I don't think that he's the better striker when it does get back to the feet. So Manel Kape's just got an aura about him. He's got that X factor. Was looking really good before he ran into, of course, Mukayev, who's also very good in his own right. Got kicked out of the promotion, but not a terrible loss. Not a lot to judge in that fight either, so really can't take anything away from Kape. But the performances that he's had against people like Pantoja, where you can, I think if they ran that back, I feel like Kape could do enough damage to win that fight and defend the takedowns. It just seemed like earlier in his career he was just a little too patient and measured in his approach. Didn't really put anything out there for fear of getting taken down or getting countered. But right now you can see that he's just really he's very comfortable on the feet and putting volume out there. He does get hit, but never really seen him get chinned or knocked down or really stumbled by anything. But he seems a lot better at putting things out there to be judged to win decisions or to just land damage on his opponents. Whereas, like I said in the past, he was just a little bit more measured. You wanted him to open up a little bit more, because when he did, he was landing. But he seems to kind of overcome that. Maybe it was just the initial UFC jitters and trusting his striking is some of the best in the division. I think he understands that now and understands how good he is. Has some losses in the past, but they're against really good guys. 21-6, 9-1, 21-2. This is all back in Ryzen, but he eventually did beat Kai Asakura in 2019 by punches to become the champion. And from there, he came to the UFC. So I just think Manel Kape, he's in the prime of his career. Looks very good, very well rounded, and I think that he'll be able to beat Asu Almabayev by decision, just getting the better on the stand-up and keeping the fight on the feet. So I think if he keeps it on the feet, I don't think Almabayev can touch him. He does have some crafty kicks, but he's nowhere near as crafty and as technical on the feet as Kape. So I'm going to go with Manel Kape to win this by 5-round decision. And I expect him to get a title shot after this one. I would imagine the fight versus Brandon Royval that was supposed to be scheduled for this main event was a title eliminator. And I think if Kape wins, he'll get a title shot against Pantoja, because not really sure who else he's going to fight at this point. And it has been, 3-4 years since they initially fought. 4 years, almost, yeah, a little over 4 years. So gonna go with Manel Kape. Let me know what you guys think. He's the favorite in this one. I think when I looked back, he was like -260 or something like that, so not crazy, but I think those odds are about right. So Manel Kape by decision.